the Seek October job ads report is out and listings are up 1% for the month. That is 4 months now heading in the right direction. 7% increase in ad listings over the past year. Auckland has recorded its first year-on-year lift after a long decline. Tech roles are surging. Applications per job ad are also at record levels, highlighting fierce competition for workers and employers alike. Joining me this morning, Rob Clark, Seek Country Manager. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
So this is it's another month of a positive result.
It is, absolutely. Yep, great to see consecutive growth, albeit fairly modest. Quarter on quarter up 3% and 7% up year on year. So really encouraging to see. It's been a long time coming.
Where are we talking about?
In terms of regions, there's a couple of stories. One is that generally across the board we're seeing improvement, which is encouraging and a sign that the market is getting better. In particular, Otago, Canterbury, Southland, really strong. Job adverts are up 20% year on year. A lot of good things happening down there, investments, population growth, strong ag sector, etc. And then the other story is that Auckland, for the first time in 2.5 years, is seeing a little bit of an improvement, up 1% month on month. So good to see some stability in that, obviously key market.
With the applications per job ad, does that just mean, yes, it's good that we are seeing more jobs being listed, but there are so many people looking for work, at what point do you need one to outpace the other?
Yeah, you're always looking for that equilibrium where there's a good number of roles and a steady flow of applicants. We're probably a bit skewed, obviously, at this time to a very high number of applications relative to the number of opportunities. Obviously, if you're an employer, that means you've got more choice typically when you're looking to hire someone. You've got more people applying and probably high caliber. Conversely, sort of 2-3 years ago, it was a complete opposite. So you're always looking for that sort of equilibrium, but at the moment, it is really competitive out there if you're looking.
At this time of year, normally, HR's winding down, the job ads will be slowing. Is this counter to that trend?
Not really. These are seasonally adjusted numbers, so we take into those considerations, and this is what we're seeing as a 1% increase. So it's a good sign. 1% is still 1%, but consecutively that's sort of 3% quarter on quarter, which is a good thing.
Yeah. What about I noticed that design and architecture, advertising, those industries have been coming back, not following the trend of the increase. What's up with that?
So we've seen a couple of sectors that have had a very torrid time over the last couple of years. Advertising and media would be a good example. But also construction, design and architecture. When the construction and sector is in trouble, we typically see a subdued market as we have. We're now starting to see a bit of a rebound. So take construction, 30% increase in job adverts versus this time last year. Design and architecture, a bit of a wobble in October, but compared to last year, also strong, up sort of 15%. So good signs.
Rob, when do we see, because we've had the Stats NZ numbers, which are, obviously not been great. This is what the economists call a leading indicator, your report. When do you start to see that flow through?
It depends, Ryan. I mean, we are a leading indicator as relates to the labour market, but the labour market is typically a lag indicator, if you like. So a lot of the talk is around the capacity in the market, and by that I mean, companies or organisations have capacity. They can expand, their output without hiring more people for a little while, and then once that demand gets higher, they need to employ people. Obviously, if you're a small business, that's more difficult. And so what we are seeing is in the small to medium-sized businesses, we're seeing a faster increase in the demand for adding talent to organisations. And so that's generally a pretty good sign that there's better things to come.
Rob, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for being with me. Rob Clark, the Seek
Welcome.
Country Manager on the latest Seek report, job ads report.